Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Before we go any further, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and don't forget the bell, because trust me, what's coming next? You don't want to miss it. And hey, if you didn't watch part 1, pause this video right now. Go watch it. You need that context. Links in the description. Go. All right, let's catch you up real quick. Last time, Rick was surrounded by walkers with no way out until Daryl and Merle came to the rescue. But hold up, why did Daryl come back after walking away with his brother? Well, in today's video, we're picking up right where we left off to break it all down. Get ready for more action, more drama, and some big shifts inside the prison group. Let's get into it. Well, Daryl just couldn't leave his people. They're like family now. And of course, Merle wasn't about to leave his brother Daryl behind either, so Merle came back too. After all that chaos, everyone finally started to calm down, even about Merle. Later that night, Rick gathered with the group inside the prison to make sure everyone was okay. Most folks wanted Merle gone, but Rick stepped up and said, "Daryl's gonna keep an eye on Merle. Merle won't cause any trouble." Rick was about to head back outside again when Herschel called out, "Rick, I trusted you with my life and my daughters. We made you our leader, so take the rest of the day and think hard, because like it or not, war is coming." Rick stepped outside alone, and Carl came out to talk to him. As they talked, Rick started to calm down more and more, and finally realized he had to stop chasing these visions and focus on the people around him. He went back to the group and started planning how to secure the prison better. They even decided Merle would help out with security. And you know what? Merle actually started to change a little. He was trying to make peace with people. He had chats with Herschel, Michonne, and others. So yeah, people began to ease up on him a bit. Meanwhile, back in Woodbury, the governor was giving Milton orders to gather anyone in town who could hold a weapon. He wanted to build a huge army to go wipe out the prison once and for all. Andrea walked in and saw what was going on. She was like, "So I heard you went to the prison, even though you said you wouldn't." The governor said, "I went to talk and they shot at us. We lost a lot of people. That's why I'm getting an army ready." Andrea didn't like that at all. She said, "Let me go talk to them and try to work things out." He told her, "If you leave, don't bother coming back." Andrea walked out and wandered around the wall. That's when Milton came up to her and said, "Don't worry, we've sealed off all the holes in the wall. No one's getting out." Andrea begged him, "Please help me escape. Just cover for me until I come back." Milton was scared, but eventually agreed. But after that, he went straight to the governor and told him, "Andrea's planning to escape and head to the prison." The governor said, "Help her. Don't let her know I know." So Milton went with Andrea outside the wall. They caught a walker in the woods, cut off its arms and jaw so she could use it as a shield while traveling. It wouldn't attack her, and it'd keep other zombies away. Just as she was about to leave, boom, Tyrese and his sister Sasha popped up, along with the father and son they were traveling with. They saw Andrea and Milton and thought they seemed all right, so they asked if there was a camp nearby. Milton told Andrea to go ahead and leave, and he'd take Therese and the others back to Woodbury. So that's what happened. Milton brought them in. Andrea made her way to the prison. When she got close, the people inside saw her and thought she might be with the governor, so they pulled guns on her. But once they saw she was alone and unarmed, they let her in and welcomed her. As soon as she got inside, Andrea found out that Lori had a baby girl, Judith. She also learned Shane died a while ago and got caught up on everything that happened. She was sad, of course, but still she started telling Rick, "You should negotiate with the governor and end this." Rick told her, if he wanted peace, he wouldn't have attacked us. She said, "But he told me you attacked him when he came to talk." Rick replied, "He's lying to you, Andrea." Of course, Andrea was totally shocked by what Michonne said. She got up and stepped outside to think for a bit. That's when Michonne came out and told her, "You know that governor you love so much? After I left Woodbury, he sent Merle and his guys after me to kill me. I barely made it out alive." Andrea was stunned. She had no idea about that. Later, she went inside and sat with Carol, and Carol straight up told her, "You want a solution? Go to the governor, stab him right here, and kill him. End of story." Andrea was a little shaken by that, but she agreed. She said her goodbyes. Rick gave her a car, and even Woodbury let her go. Later that night, Andrea finally made it back to Woodbury. The guards let her in, and she went straight to the governor. Now, he was pissed at her at first, but when she came back, he was like, "Guess you finally realize you belong with me, not them," and he got all happy again. Thing is, Andrea was seriously thinking about killing him right there. But at the last second, she backed down because she still had feelings for him. She decided to find another way to fix things. Meanwhile, back at the prison, everyone was chilling for once. Rick went up to Daryl and said, "Look, Merle can stay, but if he causes any trouble, it's on you." Then he added, "Tomorrow I'm taking Carl to the old sheriff's station I used to work at. Maybe we'll find weapons. I'm bringing Michonne too to see if she's solid. If she proves herself, she's one of us." Everyone headed to bed. The next morning, Rick, Carl, and Michonne set off toward King County, Rick's old hometown. After a long drive, they reached the station, but the place was cleaned out. No weapons, no ammo. Rick was frustrated, but they decided to search the town. As they walked through, they noticed signs saying, "Turn back," with a bunch of traps and spikes everywhere. Super sketchy. Rick realized someone was living here and had secured the area, so they moved carefully. Suddenly, someone from a rooftop aimed a sniper rifle at them and started yelling, "Drop your weapons and leave now, or I'll kill you." Rick wasn't having it. He told Michonne and Carl to flank him, and they started a firefight with the guy. Eventually, the shooter came down and tried to run, but Rick got the jump on him and knocked him out. And when Rick pulled off the guy's mask, boom! It was Morgan. Yeah, that Morgan. The first guy who ever saved Rick after he woke up from the coma in season 1. Rick was shook. Morgan was wearing body armor, so he wasn't dead, just knocked out. They carried him back to his building, but the place was full of traps. Carefully, they got him up to his room and let him rest. That's when they discovered it. Morgan's apartment was stacked with guns, bullets, explosives, you name it. Turns out he had taken all the weapons from the station and the rest of the town. As Rick looked around, he noticed weird writing all over the walls. Morgan had clearly lost it. But as Rick read more, he saw something heartbreaking. Morgan's son Dwayne had turned into a walker. Rick was devastated. He told Michonne, "We're not leaving until Morgan wakes up. We need to talk to him, and we could really use some of these weapons." Meanwhile, Carl had a personal mission. He wanted to get a photo of his mom, Lori. Rick was nervous about letting him go, so Michonne offered to go with him. At first, Carl didn't want her there. He didn't trust her yet, but she insisted. Carl told her their house had burned down, and the only photo of Lori was in a diner they used to visit, so they went to get it. The place was full of walkers, but Michonne went in, took them out, grabbed the photo, and gave it to Carl. That was a turning point. Carl smiled. He was finally starting to like Michonne. They made it back to Morgan's place. Rick was still watching over him. Turns out Morgan had held on to the walkie-talkie Rick gave him way back in season 1, and he'd been trying to contact Rick every morning like they agreed. When Morgan woke up, he didn't recognize Rick at all. In fact, he attacked him, stabbed Rick in the shoulder. Rick managed to pin him down and tried to talk some sense into him. Eventually, Morgan calmed down. He remembered Rick. He told him that after Rick left, he kept calling every day, waiting for him, but nobody ever answered. Rick tried to explain. He found his wife and kid, but then lost so many people. Morgan said, "You found your family. Mine died." He admitted that when Rick left, he couldn't bring himself to shoot his walker wife. One day she bit Dwayne, and they both turned. Only then did Morgan kill her, but it was too late. Rick was heartbroken for him. He tried to convince Morgan to come back to the prison, said they could start fresh, but Morgan refused. He said, "You're gathering all these weapons. That means war's coming. I don't want to be around people anymore. I'll just keep killing walkers." Rick took what weapons he could, said goodbye, and left. Around that time, Carl and Michonne got back. No one asked too many questions. They all got in the car and headed back to the prison. Rick was quiet on the way, still shaken by everything with Morgan. A few days later, Rick, Daryl, and Herschel headed near Woodbury. Andrea had set up a meeting with the governor to talk about a truce. While Rick and the governor talked inside, everyone else waited outside. Andrea tried to help them come to terms, but the governor told her to leave so he could speak to Rick alone. The governor told Rick he'd agree to anything if Rick gave him Michonne. Just hand her over and there'd be no war. Rick didn't say yes or no, but the governor gave him 2 days to decide. After the meeting, Rick went back to the prison and told the group, "The governor wants war. He won't stop." Privately, though, Rick told Herschel the truth. He said, "If I give him Michonne, this all ends. But she's saved us. She's one of us now." Rick was thinking about the deal with the governor over and over. He kept telling himself, even if I hand Michonne over, he might kill her, and then still kill us too. Or maybe he won't kill us, and we'd have missed our one shot at ending this war. He didn't know what to do. That's when Herschel asked him, "Why didn't you tell the group all this inside?" And Rick replied, "Because everyone needs to be scared. I can't let anyone start thinking handing Michonne over is even an option. It might be, but not until I make a real decision." Meanwhile in Woodbury, the governor was in his creepy torture room, getting ready for Michonne's arrival. He was seriously loading the place up with all kinds of torture tools. Like the guy was fully preparing to torture her for real. While he was doing all this, Milton happened to walk by and saw everything the governor was setting up. He was shocked, freaked out. He started to walk away quietly, but the governor caught him and said, "You better not tell anyone about what you saw here." Then he let him go. Right after that, Milton went to Andrea and told her everything he saw. He even took her to see it for herself. Andrea looked from a hidden spot and saw the room and the governor walking in with all those torture tools ready for Michonne. She couldn't take it. She pulled out her gun to kill him right there, but Milton stopped her and dragged her back to her apartment. He told her, "If you shoot him now, the guards will get you before you even leave the building." Andrea replied, "Then I need to go to the prison and warn Rick. He can't hand over Michonne no matter what." She said goodbye to Milton and decided to sneak out of Woodbury. She picked the back gate because it had fewer guards. When she got there, guess who was on guard? Tyrese and his sister Sasha. Andrea told them, "I need to leave, now. This place isn't what you think. Be careful." Then she walked off. Tyrese didn't want to, but because he was on duty, he had to report it to the governor. When the governor found out Andrea escaped, he was furious Tyrese let her go, but he didn't punish him. Instead, he went straight to Milton and said, "I know you helped her. What did you tell her?" Milton confessed everything. The governor lost it and said, "We'll deal with you later." Then he jumped in his car and went after Andrea. Andrea was walking through the woods, hoping to reach the prison fast. Suddenly, she heard a car behind her. She looked from a distance and saw it was the governor. He was tailing her. She ran deep into the woods, kept walking even though she was exhausted and the sun was going down. Then again, she heard the car getting close. So she ran full speed and managed to get inside some old building. The governor followed her, of course, but Andrea stayed hidden inside, trying not to make a sound. She quietly moved through the place and found a door that looked like an exit. But when she opened it, a horde of walkers was waiting. She turned back and, boom, the governor was right there. Without hesitating, she opened the door again and ducked behind it, letting the walkers rush at the governor. Then she slipped out and kept running. The governor, though, fought off the walkers like a beast. There were a ton of them, but he didn't back down. Finally, Andrea reached the prison. She saw Rick from a distance and was about to wave, when suddenly the governor jumped her and dragged her away before anyone noticed. He took her back to Woodbury without telling anyone and locked her in the exact same torture room he had set up for Michonne, tied her down and everything. Next day at the prison, Rick sat down with Daryl and Herschel. He told them the governor's offer, hand over Michonne, and maybe avoid war. Daryl hated the idea. "That's not who we are, Rick. We don't drug people and hand them over like that." Rick answered, "There's no other way. We need options." So Rick asked Daryl to help get Michonne ready for the handoff. He said, "She won't come quietly. We'll need Merle's help." Rick went to Merle and told him they needed him to deliver Michonne. Quietly. No one else could know. Merle said, "You do realize the governor's not going to kill her right away? He's going to torture her to death." Rick paused. He was clearly upset about it, but didn't say anything. He just walked away. Later, Merle sat alone watching everyone. He could tell Rick was going to back out eventually. He didn't have it in him to actually go through with it. So Merle took matters into his own hands. He told Michonne, "Come with me, we're clearing a cell block of walkers." She followed him, not knowing his real plan. As they started killing walkers, Merle suddenly knocked her out, tied her up and dragged her out alone, heading straight for the governor. Back at the prison, Rick sat by himself, torn up about what he was about to do. Then suddenly he snapped out of it. "I can't do this, not even if it kills me." He ran to find Merle, but he was already gone, Rick told Daryl. Daryl led him to the last place he saw Merle. From the signs there, Daryl figured it out. Merle took Michonne and already left the prison. Meanwhile, Michonne woke up in the car, tied up. She walked with Merle, still tied, and she didn't stop talking. "You're nothing but a dog," she told him. "A lapdog for the governor, or Rick. They say jump. You jump." Merle didn't say a word, but it hit him because she was right. Later, they found a car. Merle tied Michonne to a post while he hotwired it. Suddenly, walkers attacked. Michonne held her own, taking down walkers while tied up. One almost got Merle, but he killed it in time, untied Michonne, and they both jumped in the car and took off. In the car, Michonne kept talking, telling Merle he still had a chance to change, to be better, to stop being someone else's dog. That's when Merle made his decision. He stopped the car, untied her, gave her back her sword, and told her, "Go back. Warn the others. I'll handle the rest." Then Merle drove off, alone toward the governor's meetup spot. He parked a little ways away, blasted loud music from the car to draw walkers. Once he had a whole horde following, he drove straight toward the governor's location. At the last second, Merle jumped out and let the car roll in, with all the walkers right behind. They were heading straight for the governor. So the governor and his men were in Woodbury, and they started blasting zombies with all the weapons they had, because there were way too many of them. At the same time, Merle was hiding and sniping the governor's men from a distance. But sadly, Martinez and another guy spotted him and shot him. After that, they grabbed Merle, and the governor went off on him, beat him up like crazy, and in the end, he finished him off. Meanwhile, at the prison, Rick gathered everyone and finally decided to come clean. He told them the truth, that Merle took Michonne, and it's up to Daryl now to bring her back or not. He apologized for keeping the whole Michonne thing secret and said from now on, he's not making any decisions on their behalf anymore. But they all needed to decide right now. Were they going to run away from here or stay and fight the governor? After Rick was done talking, he stepped outside to stand guard while they all made their decision. While he was out there, thank God, Michonne showed up safe and sound. Rick was so relieved and happy to see her, and he brought her inside. As for Daryl, he'd been tracking Merle's trail, until unfortunately, it led him right to the spot where Merle had died and turned into a walker. Daryl broke down crying, heartbroken over his brother. Then with tears in his eyes, he put Merle down for good and just sat there beside him, crying. A little while later, Daryl made it back to the prison, and everyone there was packing up, getting ready to leave, scared of the governor's next move. So Daryl started packing too. And by the way, Michonne stopped Rick at that moment and told him, "I forgive you for wanting to give me up to the governor, and I'm glad you didn't." Rick apologized, and that was the end of it. They all started heading out. Over in Woodbury, the governor had Milton tied up and was beating and torturing him like crazy because he betrayed him. After enough beating, he dragged Milton into the room where Andrea was locked up and told him, "Go grab those pliers and follow me." While Milton was doing that, he dropped the pliers on purpose and left them near Andrea without the governor noticing, so she might have a chance to free herself. Then the governor stopped Milton, handed him a knife and said, "Either you kill Andrea right now and I'll spare you, or I'll kill you." Milton took the knife and acted like he was going to do it, but instead he tried to stab the governor. Bad move. The governor killed him right there and then, cold-blooded. Then he just tossed Milton's body into the room with Andrea, locked the door, and walked off, planning for Milton to die, turn into a walker, and eat Andrea. After that, the governor started gathering his army and the townspeople to launch a full attack on the prison. Tyrese and Sasha told him straight up, "We're not fighting your war. We'll stay here and guard the kids and whoever's left in town. If you want to kick us out when you get back, go ahead." The governor was pissed. but he agreed and left with his crew. They finally arrived at the prison and they came loaded. Explosives, heavy weapons, the whole deal. They started blowing everything up, tearing down big parts of the prison fence. But weirdly enough, they didn't find any resistance. It looked like everyone had already escaped. Still, they went inside the prison, all the way to the cell blocks to double check. But again, nobody. Even so, the governor wouldn't leave. He kept wandering deeper into the prison until bam, walkers started swarming them, and Rick and Daryl popped up too, throwing gas grenades and opening fire. The governor's men, who weren't real soldiers, panicked and bolted. Once outside, Glenn and Maggie popped up and opened fire on them too. The governor's men completely lost it, jumped in their cars and fled. And of course, the governor chased after them solo, furious. Back in the woods, Carl was hiding out with Herschel, Beth, and baby Judith to stay away from the fight. Suddenly, one of the governor's young guys ran up, trying to surrender, but Carl shot him dead anyway. The dude was literally about to hand over his weapon. Later, they all regrouped at the prison. Rick was relieved everyone was okay, but then Herschel told him what Carl did, how he shot an unarmed kid. Rick was shocked that Carl had gotten that brutal. He felt like it was all his fault. Right away, Rick said, "We're finishing this. We're gonna kill the governor." He grabbed Daryl and Michonne, and they went out to hunt him down. Before leaving, Rick went to talk to Carl and asked him why he killed that guy when he was surrendering. Carl told him, "I don't want to mess up like before. Back when I didn't kill that walker, it ended up killing Dale. And when you didn't kill that prisoner, he ended up causing Mom's death. And when you had the governor right in front of you and didn't kill him, he went and killed Merle. I'm not going to let that happen again." Carl walked off and Rick was just left speechless. His son was right. But still, he pulled himself together and went with Daryl and Michonne to find the governor. Meanwhile, the governor had caught up to his fleeing men, stopped them by force, and started screaming at them for running away. But everyone told him, "This isn't our war. We don't want to die." That's when the governor just snapped. He pulled out his gun and started murdering his own people one by one, without mercy. The only one who survived was a woman named Karen, who played dead and he didn't notice her. After that massacre, the governor silently walked away, taking only Martinez and one other guy with him. Where they went, nobody knows. Back in Woodbury, Andrea and Milton were still locked in that room. Milton told Andrea that he dropped the pliers near her on purpose, and she needed to hurry and free herself before he died and turned. Andrea tried with all her strength to get the pliers and free herself, but sadly Milton died and turned into a walker. He lunged at her, and we can only guess what happened next. Later, Rick, Daryl, and Michonne arrived at the place where the governor had killed his own men. They were horrified by the scene. Bodies everywhere, some of them already turned into walkers. They started putting down the walkers until suddenly, Karen, the only survivor, showed up and told them everything. That night, Rick, Daryl, Michonne, and Karen made it to Woodbury. Tyrese and Sasha were guarding the place, and when they saw Rick, they started shooting. But Karen ran out, stood between them, and stopped the fight. Turns out, she and Tyrese liked each other. Tyrese and Sasha lowered their weapons and let Rick and the group in. Karen told them the whole story, how the governor lost the fight, went nuts, and murdered everyone. She said, "I'm the only one left, and these people, Rick and his group, they saved me." Rick added, "Karen told us Andrea had escaped and came here looking for us, but she never showed up." Tyrese let them search the town for her. Rick went to the room where the governor used to keep Glenn and Maggie prisoner, and he found Andrea there, barely alive. She had killed Milton, but not before he bit her. Everyone was heartbroken when they saw her like that, especially Michonne, her closest friend. Andrea, trying to stay strong, told them, "It's okay. We won. The governor lost." She asked Rick for a gun so she could end it herself. Rick gave it to her, said his goodbye, and left the room. Michonne stayed with her until she ended her own life. After that, Rick took all the remaining people from Woodbury, including Tyrese and Sasha, and brought them back to the prison to live there. Everyone at the prison was shocked to see all those new faces, but Rick told them, "These people are staying with us now. From now on, we'll be bringing in new people whenever we can." And just like that, Rick finally got a bit of peace after all that madness. He started thinking about the future and how to rebuild the place. But my friend, is the governor really gone for good? Or is he coming back with even crazier stuff? And can the prison even handle all these new people? We'll get all the answers and more in the next season. Stay tuned. If you had fun watching, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps out. And hey, if you're into The Walking Dead like I am, make sure you subscribe and turn on that bell so you don't miss the next parts. See you in the next one.